There's not as much to unpack with his PvT. I'm sure he's got a lot of tricks. If he's already shown in TVZ, he's got a lot of his own approach to the matchup. Let's see what he's got to offer in this Terran versus Protoss. Ample versus Mini. Best of 5 starts now.
So it's Medusa, of course.
I actually forgot we were on Medusa. That's right.
Yeah. Ample in the top left and Mini in the bottom.
So Medusa already... Let's go ahead and kind of hash out this map again here, Artosis, because, you know, I think about half of our viewers are diehard Brood War fans or new Brood War fans that are already pretty acquainted with everything, and the other people are going, there's a StarCraft 1 tournament going on? And so for those of you guys that don't know the map that well, you start out, you're in an open area, so access to your natural, it's very open, can be pushed pretty easily. But also you have these temples that lead to a high ground area behind your base where there's a mineral natural. And splash damage can tear down those temples. And in some circumstances, a Terran can absolutely push with siege tanks and blow those temples up.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of other tricks that you can use as far as taking advantage of the high ground. So early game can be quite interesting if one of the two players, and I think especially with Mini, tries to do something crazy right away.
Yeah, in these particular spots, you'd have to have pretty heavy map control as Ample to knock down Mini's temples. So, you know, you'd definitely be already quite advantaged to get into that position as Terran, unless you did a very peculiar build, something like a 2-base, 5 factory or something might be able to pull it off. And I think it's quite likely that Ample will do something. What he won't do is a 2-1 timing push, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. I don't want to call it necessarily out of the ordinary. There's a big range of builds that you can do in this matchup on either side. But, when you think of just standard macro Terran play, the stuff you might see Flash or Last do, on a map like Medusa, that you're going to be hard-pressed to win with that against a player like Mini.
Right. Mini, by the way, going for Nexus first. And it looks like the scouting SCV is going to go counterclockwise here.
Interesting that he chose the Nexus first here.
Yeah.
Because it's a 3-player map. I mean, there is just a build that you do where you send 8 SCVs, 4 Marines, and Rally Vulture Marine against a Nexus first. And if you micro correctly, you will kill it.
Yeah, it seems like Nexus first might be on the way out.
I like it mixed in. Especially 4-player maps, because the later you scout it, the harder it is to make your build conform to this. And like if it's... Oh, he's pausing. Ample's pausing. Okay, but seriously, on a 3-player map, it's a flat map, which I don't think comes into it too heavily. But you can't fall back, I guess, if you lose a ton of units. I don't know. It's interesting to me that he has chosen this strategy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the wisest build. Again, 4-player map, like you were saying, I totally agree. If it's a 4-player map, then the dice roll might go in your favor. They might find it too late. Also, it just seems like if you're not going to seize control of the early game right away on Medusa, you might have problems, no matter what race you're playing.
Yeah.
I think to play too passively, just as a general theme on this map, can be a problem. But
well, the map is generally considered Protoss favored in this matchup.
Yeah.
So the fact that Mini is doing the Nexus first, it's a slight risk to the build. I don't think that you necessarily get behind, even if they pull their SCVs. You can do things like abandon your Nexus. And then the Terran's actually losing quite a bit of mining time with all those SCVs out there and everything. I think that, that will put Terran ahead in that situation. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, if this works out for Mini, it should be a relatively easy close for him, because it's already a map that Terran has a little bit of a hard time with.
Yeah, especially if you get away with Nexus first and they don't punish it or they don't react and respond to it properly, it's incredible the amount of problems that compound for the Terran player.
Yeah.
The only disadvantage you have if you go for Nexus versus Protoss is that you get your observers out much later, which is, if you're used to having a scout there or being able to spot mines, that can help a lot. I also wonder if...
the thing is, on this map, I think that the lack of observer doesn't matter because you have that mineral base behind you, so you can insta-third if they go mines. It's not like
I
they're
was
denying
thinking,
a third
I was thinking
base.
about, because there is something you can do against Nexus first where you can go for a vulture drop if you don't do anything crazy. I know that's not as popular now, but that can be with the mineral or the high ground location behind the main.
Yeah, it could be hard to break.
That can be really, really difficult because you suddenly have a different situation of you trying to, instead of you trying to finesse your way against the mines, because maybe you don't have vision, but you can kind of, what do we call that when you patrol micro, I guess, with the Dragoons?
Cheating.
When you're trying to go in there and face the mines, it's much harder to do that going up a ramp in your own base.
Yeah,
By the way, we're going to resume the game. We're going to go back into that now. We'll throw that up on screen and continue game one here with Mini versus Ample. Ample had a pause. We never found out what it was. It's going to be lost in history. And we're going to move on and see what exactly the game plan is going to be here from Ample, who has just scouted Mini's quick Nexus.
Yeah, so I don't see, I only see 2 Marines here. Don't know if he's actually floating his barracks, so Ample's just going to expand off this. I mean, he's putting some very light pressure. I'm interested to see what he's going to do. I think, if you decide to make a quick command center, he's starting a bunker.
It seems like he's feigning one of these rushes. I don't know. I mean, there's a chance that Ample's nervous here.
Thing is, this is almost a good build to play against if you're nervous because, Protosses still do this a lot, right? It is still a good build. So every Terran in the world has a ton of practice, fighting against Nexus first and putting the pressure on it. Okay, so he throws down the command center. Now, normally what you do in a situation like this, if you don't want to do the SCV pull, is you get mines to contain the Protoss.
The Protoss counterattack now? I see the Zealot coming out. I was just wondering this.
Yeah.
Because you're making a CC and you attacked with an attack that wouldn't do anything, this is what we call... Actually, what is a way to describe this? We don't normally see it in high levels, but you're basically trying to do two opposing ideas in the same space. There's no way that they can occupy that same space at the same time. It's like expanding and attacking. That shouldn't work in StarCraft.
Yeah.
Because if you're attacking, you need to be committed to that. If you're defending, you have to be committed to that. Now, this counterattack with the Vulture, maybe that does something, but is it the natural just basically too weak? I mean, look at this. You don't have to respect a bunker with one Marine in it. And so he just kills the SCV here, and then he actually can park his army in a spot where he might never be able to get this command center done unless he really commits quite a lot to this.
It was incredibly important for Mini not to throw away those 2 Marines. You can do a mine contain, but to give them 2 Marines, they will walk across the map like this. And your mines will not be ready. You actually have to buy a little bit of time because Dragoons can get to your base about the same time your mines finish if they go directly with these build orders.
By the way, mines is not done being upgraded.
Oh, he got speed first. Whoa. Ample is trying to be a Mr. Fancy Pants this game, and it's not working out.
3 different things at once.
Yeah.
Never mind just 2. That's for noobs, man. You got to do all 3. Next, we see a battlecruiser come out. I'm like, 4 things at once.
Then a lockdown hits the goon that's trying to kill the BC. Okay. Well, so right now...
Oh, my God. Look, he actually has a body block here.
This is the advantage to Mini is so unbelievably significant.
So I want to point out something real quick here. This is when you get to see what it's like when 2 players of vastly different skills compete against each other.
Gosh.
It is like a fencer taking down an unarmed street thug. You know, the grace of the skill and how easy that Mini is making this look because he's handled everything so perfectly. We should actually, well, maybe not, but I think we're going to see GG in a second here.
So what you said about him doing opposing things is really, really correct. Because it's like, okay, you can Marine Rush against Nexus first.
Right.
That's fine. You can expand and do some sort of Vulture stuff against it. That's fine. Can you do both at the same time? Absolutely not. And we see that very clearly outlined. Because literally all you have to do is rally to their base. If they throw away early units and make a command center, you actually, Nexus first is really funny because they get out some amount of Zealots and then Goons, and they will just walk to your base. They'll just go, even if there's mines. If there's Zealots there, they'll walk through them. you know,
in Street Fighter, when you watch 2 great players play against each other,
yeah,
Well, in this time it was Mini as Ryu, and Ample was the car you beat up on the bonus stage. Was what that was. I mean,
yeah.
he manhandled Ample so badly. Look, I know that we might sound like we're beating a dead horse here, but Ample did way too many things at once. I mean, it's breaking basic RTS 101. It's RTS theory is that you can't get Vulture speed to harass, do a Marine rush that you know is not going to work to psych him out, and then expand. Because none of these builds cover the other. None of these strategies or techniques or tactics. None of them cover the other part of the build.
No, yeah. And
in fact, they actually make the other part of the build weaker.
If he took out the 2 Marines walking down, he would have been okay. He would just hold with the bunker because the 3 Marines in the bunker you're not really running past.
Yeah.
1 Marine in a bunker, like you can tell how many Marines are in the bunker as soon as you walk up to it. And I mean, you have Protoss units. A Marine in a bunker isn't anything.
It's nothing.
It's nothing. What, an SCV's attacking your goon? Okay, turn around and go home.
And don't forget that with Vulture speed, you at least have to have the defense at home if you're going to be counterattacking. You don't have that because you did that attack in with the Marines. So if let's say you do the attack with the Marines in the bunker, right? Okay, we'll get spider mines. We got to go to a break. We're going to come back with game 2 in just a little bit. Don't go away.
지금 저그 6시로 러커 드랍 올 거예요. 보세요. 오잖아요. 그럼 스캔 뿌려서 잡을 준비해야 되는데 막아야 되는데요.
잘 맞추는데? 근데 나랑은 좀 안 맞네.
맞추는데 안 맞는다는 건 또 뭐야. 해설은 예측 해설, 무당 해설.
역시 해설은 샤우팅 용준자.
용준이 형, 형 주무시는데 어떻게 해요?
왜?
형 찾아요 지금.
아까 그 선수야? 저 선수 한두 경기를 안 끝나거든.
아직 절반도 안 했어요.
이거 날밤 새겠네. 나 이대빵이 좋은데 또 찾아.
한두 판 같은 소리 하고 있네. 20판은 걸릴 거다. 응? 아니 20시간은 걸릴 것 같다.
나만 찾아 이놈의 인기. 나만 찾아.
근데 형은 뭐 먹는 것만 생각하세요?
선수가 전병력 한 방울씩 갑니다. 자, 상대 안마랑 멀티 밀어냈고요. 다음 이제 생산 건물만 장악하면 쥐지. 그렇지. 이럴 땐 역시 박하닉 풀업세이드 탱크에 싹 다 녹아. 이건 뭐죠? 사이렉 스톱.
간만에 날 잡고 하는데 잘 안 되네.
어몽 도와주세요.
자, 오늘은 어떤 명승부가 펼쳐질지. 명경기 속에 명언이 터지는 거거든. 지지?
사드론이 뭐야 사드론이. 짜증나네. 명언보단 예측이지. 다시 무당에서 가자.
너의 플레이, 상대방의 플레이, 게임의 승패까지 모두 보이는구나. 이거 질 것 같죠? 그러면 제가 흐름 아는데 해설 바꾸겠죠? 제발 맞죠? 할게요.
그렇다면 MC 용준.
쇼미더머니. 상대 선수 프로브까지 동원합니다. 프로브까지 동원. 탱커 1번은 센터가 됐고 1번은 통통통통통통통. 이제는 병력 없어요. 제제.
역시 해설은 예측이지. 역시 해설은 명불허전 엄대엄이 역시 해설은
뭉치면 살고 흩어지면 죽는다. 해설에 의한, 해설을 위한 해설의 게임을 시작하자.
예측은 감이 아니라 실력입니다. 나의 실력이 선수의 실력이 된다.
나의 샤우팅, 나의 열정은 선수의 즐거움을 위한 것이다.
이 모든 게임의 주인공이 있고 이 모든 게임은 하나의 이야기지.
한 분밖에 안 남았는데 지금요. 네, 밀고 들어가는데요.
설마 이겨요?
네, 이겨요. 와!
그렇죠. 이길 수 있어요. 저희와 함께라면 당신도 프로게이머가 될 수 있습니다. 당신만을 위한 위대한 그들의 해설 시작하겠습니다. 스타크래프트 전설의 목소리 팩 전격 출시.
야, 나도 한 판만 하자.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to go to game 2. Light a candle, light some incense here from Ample. Okay? Say a little prayer here for Ample. He's not doing too well so far. And by the way, that was not him intellectually not grasping StarCraft. That looked to me more like nerves. That looked to me like there were so many things going on in his head that it was like he was playing 4 different games at once, because it's harder to make yourself lose strategically than that.
Yeah.
And I know that he knows better. He wouldn't be in KSL, but, you know, this is talked about a lot. You know, in esports in general, if you're in an environment where you train at home exclusively, playing in front of that many people gets weird. It's overwhelming. There's a camera. People don't appreciate this. There's a camera right in your face while you're playing, too.
Yeah.
Okay? Sometimes a second camera even on the keyboard. There's an audience reacting to the game. It's freaky, man. And I think some of those nerves got to Ample, but generally, you can't be nervous for that long when you're on there. Eventually, you should find your comfort zone. You should find your stride. Let's see if that happens here in game number 2.
So map going to be Circuit Breakers, a good choice by Ample. Generally very comfortable macro map for Terran. Ample's in the top left, and Mini, is in the top right. There's you can do just about any style in the whole world here as Terran, and you know, your main base is big enough to hold all your factories very easily. You have enough room for turrets everywhere if you want to go turtle style. There's just so many bases. It's easy to get 4 bases as Terran, generally speaking. Here in these spots, it's a little bit harder, but yeah, it's a very comfortable map.
So again, guys, sorry for the delay when we started the show here. Things are moving forward now. This just occasionally happens in live TV. But it's good to be back here doing KSL. We will be here tomorrow as well, starting at 7 p.m. KST, so do join us. If you weren't aware, we're always on every Thursday and Friday until we get to the finals, which is on the weekend. But, yeah, you are welcome to join Artosis and myself. You're probably more familiar with us from StarCraft 2, but we love StarCraft 1 as well. We don't discriminate with our StarCrafts.
Certainly. So, looking at this game, a semi-wall at least being put up by Ample. You can do a full wall here. Depot on the right will completely block out Zealots. Your Marine's going to pop on the outside, but it can walk through between the depots and the depot and the barracks. So it's like pretty safe. Walling in general, though, like if you wall there, right, I think that wall is okay. Remember when 4GG was walling and just the proxies killed him?
Yeah.
With a wall like this, you can just complete it, and as long as you get 1 Marine inside, a proxy gate is killed.
Yeah. You got to keep in mind that there's actually a spawn location on the buildings for where units come out in StarCraft 1, which is at the bottom left, unless there's some terrain or another structure there, in which case it'll bump it to the right. But that causes situations where if the Marine's on the outside, it can get killed. But you pretty much, in this situation on this map, can always get the Marine back there behind that, and then the Marine can hold off any melee attacker.
Yeah, so his second depot is not going to be at the wall. Not at all surprised to see that. I think that would just be an emergency one. Now, when you do something like this, sometimes it means you're going to 2-fact. If you do a full wall, right, you can block them from seeing your tech. You can skimp out on Marines. Here we see he's taking the SCVs off gas. So it looks like a regular expansion build from Ample. Mini, single Zealot out. No big deal about that. Some people just like to make the Zealot.
So, yeah, I mean, Zealot's fine early on. It helps out a lot in these little micro situations, having the one Zealot out there, because it forces the Terran to kite in a certain way. And so that Zealot's going to come across the map now.
It's kind of funny. 1 Marine out here, another one coming back. I'm going to flank that probe for a moment. The Zealot is taking such a funny path. He's really working hard to hide the fact that he has a Zealot right now.
Yeah, he's actually almost preoccupied with controlling his army there. We saw some stray probes just outside the Nexus.
Well, there's... I see. So he's actually trying to come in at the timing where Terrans generally build a bunker here. That's really interesting.
So advanced, man. He's so good.
He's so advanced, man.
He's so advanced.
Look at this. You deny the bunker, and suddenly you're sitting here with 2-3 Marines with
Look at
damage
this.
on them against a Goon and a Zealot. You think that's a good battle?
I don't know, Artosis.
He
Is
doesn't...
it?
Oh, my God.
The barracks hasn't landed. Okay, now it's going to land.
Oh, that Zealot missed its chance to be a hero.
Now, keep in mind, there's no mining happening here. These SCVs kind of get in the way.
Sick micro. by
Oh,
the
my
way.
God, he's so good. So... Mini has prepped so well to just kind of know how Ample plays here, in this game specifically. And he hit that Zealot so perfectly that Terran basically goes for a build where they try to sneak out. And so, speaking of sneaking out, Ample's Vulture comes out as well.
Kind of a funny opener right there, but he does get his command center started. Has a single Vulture out on the map. Looks like Mini wants to put pressure onto this bunker, which is going to cost a lot of money to repair, especially if you're trying to make a lot of Vultures early on. We don't see what is spinning, though. Ooh!
Now again, you know, there wasn't a ton of Marines. Some of them were killed in that fight. Now, great body blocking here with this SCV,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
This is great micro from Ample so far this game, I got to say. Like,
Yeah.
that was great body blocking. He did well with the SCVs.
I would actually say even better technique here from Mini. I mean, he's just, this is the same story. Now, in this case, he's going to force SCVs to pull.
Yeah.
Now, the Dragoons should, in the long run, lose this fight. But with great control here, he can just keep splitting the Dragoons. And SCVs, when they're not mining, guys, you're losing so much money.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's painful.
You know, it's interesting how the math can work in StarCraft in some situations. You might look at this and say, is it worth losing 2 Dragoons?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, dude!
Oh, these are the happiest to die Dragoons ever.
Yeah.
And the
I
thing
watched.
is, Ample was like trying again to play a kind of a greedy play.
Mm-hmm.
He put that's strong though, right there.
Yeah.
Having those mines up, that's nice.
We're not catching it on camera, but he's going to patrol micro that down there. And, yep,
Yeah,
did not
he did
take
it
any
perfect.
damage. So when you see this, what you do is you right-click forward, and then...
Oh,
but-
they attacked the Vulture. I'm using that Vulture placement. That was beautiful.
yeah.
It's because you have to do an attack move. You don't target the mine,
No,
right?
you have to do a patrol move.
Yeah, patrol move.
Yeah.
But it has a higher priority for the Vulture. That
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
perfectly spaced Vulture. I wasn't even aware that was a thing.
No, it makes
Wow.
sense. I mean, I'm
Oh my
99%
God.
sure that you're right, Artosis, that,
Yeah.
like, yeah, the Dragoon always prioritizes a Vulture over a mine, right?
Yeah, no, it's a
Right?
higher priority.
Yeah.
But look at this. This little podunk army that was for defense is now scary. 2 of those goons got a mine hit on it. Like, you have some potential here.
Now, you gotta be
5 goons now.
careful. See, observers are out.
Oh, yeah,
No,
you got to turn around.
Yeah, this
Run!
is actually...
Run!
Oh, my God. Oh, no.
You're just going to lose everything.
Yeah.
Just going to lose everything.
All right. The one takeaway from this is that Artosis now knows that Vulture trick.
Yeah, no, that made tonight completely worth it.
Yep. The entire night was leading up to this moment. Oh, my God, and the Dragoon hits on the high ground. Okay, so
Well-
the problem is that Ample lost 2 tanks in that. And, you know, the problem is... Oh, God, and yeah, Reavers are coming out here as well.
Ample normally plays better than this.
Artosis, I feel like you're in a relationship with Ample right now, and you're very disappointed.
Well, I am disappointed. Our relationship is he's one of the only Terran players that has made it into a tournament this year. So
Yeah. Well, I got to say...
I'm slightly sad.
This
Jesus.
loss is on Ample, though.
It is on
I mean,
Ample.
this is... it's weird, too, because, again, I feel like that attack was counterintuitive. Protoss will have observers then, and they will have the Dragoons that you have coming out then. I mean...
When the mine hit, wow, that's what are you doing, Minnie? Like, what am I watching? Oh my god! Oh my god, dude!
It doesn't matter, man. He's got a shuttle. He's got
This
a
game
Reaver.
looks worse than my ladder games. But look, the thing is, like, the actual move out with the 3 Marines and the tank was good. But he didn't turn around. As soon as the observer comes, you have to run. But he had potential there to maybe, you know, pick off a goon, put some more damage on, kill a pylon like we saw. But then, like, the Vulture comes up behind the other tank. He doesn't turn around quickly enough. He's, like, maybe not looking the right place with his screen. Ample's like trying real hard to play like the best Terran in the world, and it's just not quite working out. Because these builds he's doing, Flash would pull these off. Right?
I think what you're saying is really important. There is that he's trying to play like the best Terran in the world, because the best Terran in the world can get away with this much stuff. Great placement with the barracks.
Yeah,
to hide
that was awesome.
I love that he actually targeted the Marine there.
He got a hit off on the Reaver. That's nice.
Oh my God! One more shot. Boop.
Wow, really well executed there by Mini.
I love this usage of the Reaver to hit the bunker, because the bunker is actually it clots up.
You're so safe with the
Protoss
bunker.
attack so much. Even though the Marine, it's weird how that works, right? Because there's one Marine in the bunker. You wouldn't think that does that much damage, and it doesn't, but it gives a lot of sustain, which over time just sort of the Protoss gets weeded out of that that area.
Yeah. Okay, so he's gone into 2 factories. Mini takes his 3rd base. That's a pretty common place to take your 3rd base in these positions. The mineral only gets a little bit iffy because Terran can do a dedicated push across there. Now, what is okay? So he's actually building a 3rd command center at the top, and so it's not too late. Like he's going into like a very regular macro game from here, and he lost a bunch of like units early on in kind of a sloppy way, and he lost some mining time and stuff. So I definitely would put Ample behind here. Oh, that's not a command center at all. That's an engineering bay.
Oh, I thought the same thing when you pointed out. It looks like it's the size of a CC. Now, Mini does a lot of this shuttle man play. And so let's see if he tries to crack Ample open here. I guess there's nothing to incentivize that if there's not the 3rd CC on the way. You're really just looking to take the fight head on.
What's
and win.
he doing? Let's see. It's Starport. So he's going 2 base here. The thing is, there's speed shuttle with Reavers, and it looks like Mini's actually going up into carriers. Gosh. What is the plan here, Ample? Like, I guess he's just going to go into, like, either 5 factories, starport, maybe a little bit of drop harassment or something like that, or maybe just a big, like, 2 base, 7 fact push. I'm not sure.
He's not going to try to break him, is he? I keep thinking it's never going to happen.
Oh, Mini? No, Mini's not going to try to break. Mini's playing defensive. Like, all Mini has to do is slow this and whittle it down, and the game's his.
Yeah, I don't think there's a reason to try to go for the kill, but we've seen this so often with double shuttle. But yeah,
that might be a command center. No, it's not. It's a science facility. Never mind. Okay, he's there. It is. Okay. So this is this is what Naoka and I call the Grand Line build, where it's like if you think that there is if you take your base, you could die because you lost too many units early on, or it's like a big open map at the 3rd base or something like that. You can actually just jump up the tech tree extra, get extra factories, make extra units, and take a much later 3rd. And it throws Protoss off a little bit because they aren't really sure if you're going to attack. They aren't really sure if you're going to expand. And you have a lot of units. So it's not like a perfect timing. Like probably, on a map like Circuit Breaker's Flash would be very disappointed to have to do this. But it's solid.
3 shuttles.
Oh, my God.
He's going to bust a 3rd.
Shuttle man. Here he comes.
Here we go. I love this style of play, though. It's really cool how they try to take advantage of it. Now, really good targeting here. Mini basically didn't execute that as well as it could have, but it doesn't matter because there's so many Dragoons here. This is so interesting. Yeah, you have enough shuttles. If you shove, and the crazy thing is you get to tech behind this, too. So when you punish the Terran, you can punish him even further.
Yeah. It's very rough because Ample did a build literally that should have been able to stop this. He had a lot of units before taking his 3rd.
Never mind not getting the 3rd. He lost his tanks, which means now the ground army carrier counterplay to the Terran is compounded.
No, this is a terrible situation. He's even going to deny some gas mining, which means a lot. Look at the supply differential. We're 45 supply down for Ample at the moment. There's no opportunities for him to do damage. There's only opportunities for him to take more damage.
Yeah, and so this is one of these wins where the Protoss gets it before the carriers even come out. Ample, I think, is going to have to bring a more conservative game here because Mini just can run circles around this guy. And I think a lot of this is coming down to the fact that Ample can't even get a base up properly. And I don't mean that in a condemning way, by the way, guys. I mean, Well, I guess for game
Oh,
one,
he had a rough early game.
Yeah.
Is the big problem. He tried to do a fancy Vulture opening. Mini hit the first sellout. That was a really tricky, innovative play that really helped him out. You know, that slowed everything down. Then he did the Dragoon run by, and a lot of things went really, really wrong for Ample early on. I actually think he chose the right build to try to recover with, to be honest. I think that actually was it took me a little bit to figure out what was going on with his play, because we never look at the main base at KSL, but you know, I think it wasn't a bad idea. You know, things went wrong, try to recover, but Mini has just been very precise in his attacks, in his tech, in his expanding.
So now the carriers come out, which can target down. I think that's the only tank, unless there's one north of the screenshot. Okay, there is.
Yeah, I guess there's gonna be, but
Oh, the Reaver's just like...
he's doing what he wants.
Okay, so GG's going to be
Yeah.
called here, and we'll be going to game 3 in a second. There it is.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Well, Mini just
Ample
smashed.
Bample is what Mini says.
Yeah, yeah. A little bit rough. Ample is playing some very, very fancy builds here,
Ample's
unable
having-
to secure his bases correctly, unfortunately. You can see he's quite upset by it. The thing is, Ample's a very good player. He's playing, you know, he's here in KSL in the round of 8. That's huge.
Right.
He plays things like KCM all the time. He's always in qualifiers. He's always doing well. Well-respected, very strong Terran player who's having a bit of a rough night against currently one of the best Protosses in the world, who just got second place in ASL last season.
Right. I feel bad for Ample, because especially when he lost the tanks when he was pushing out. You know that feeling where you're already so behind, but you're playing anyways because it's a tournament game, and you know it's
When he
going
lost the
into
two
your
tanks
record.
on the bridges.
Look, man, he should not have pushed or should not have stayed once he got out there.
Yeah.
If you want to be
It's okay to
playing
walk out
like
and
the
walk
greatest
back.
Terran, kill the pylon and run
Yeah.
like really fast, because once the observers are out, it's easy to get the closer with the Dragoons.
I can't disagree with anything you're saying. It's a tough one.
Maybe if we don't have any major mistakes here by Ample, we might have a closer game.
I do salute though that he's trying to play his absolute best, because you know, like builds like this he can do. You know, if he's playing like a ladder game or a practice game with friends or something, I guarantee you he can nail some of these builds and like look really good doing it.
Yeah, the
Here
problem
he
is
with
that
the pressure.
if you make any mistakes, even like losing a Marine too early with what Ample's trying to do, a Protoss is going to pound you.
yeah.
He's
Mini's
going
not
to
making it
pound
easy.
you into oatmeal. You are done. Mini is not going to have any of that. Mini knows how to use his Dragoons. He knows how to get in there and delay. He knows where to attack, what he needs to attack when he gets in there. You know, is it going to be the SCV making the command center? Is it going to be denying that Marine? Anyways, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, game 3, and hopefully it's not going to be another 3-0. We'll see.